Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video guide for Ark. I'm once again in Aberration. In this video, folks, I'm going to show you 3 methods for taming a basilisk. So the very first thing that we want to know is that you will need either the fertilized rock drake eggs or the magmasaur eggs if you are on Genesis Part 1. So that is what they like. That is the best thing to tame them with. Now, the first method that you can do is you can try and kite them around freely without the use of a trap. Now, this is nice because you have a lot of space to work with, but it does have its downsides. And the downsides, as you can see, is if there are creatures around, the basilisk will of course then focus on those creatures. The other problem with this is, of course, if it does attack a creature that fights back, once it has eaten the egg, it will lose the taming effectiveness as it gets hit. So that is something to keep in mind. Basically what happens is the basilisk will attack a creature. If it is something, say, along the lines of, I don't know, something that will fight back, like a triceratops, for example, which will fight back. Every time the triceratops hits the basilisk, it will lose taming effectiveness. So that is the downside of this thing right here. Now, of course, I am in God mode because I just want to show you what you will be up against. And as you can see, the basilisk will often focus on other creatures nearer to it that it can attack. And there's plenty to choose from. You can try and clear the area out, but this is going to be a bit of a problem because the game will constantly spawn new creatures in. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to do it this way, but just bear in mind that if you're going for a high level basilisk, you really want to try and get as many levels on it. It does help with making it more powerful. So I'm just going to kind of show you all the troubles that you can bump in with this method. As you can see, we've got raptors spawning in and everything, which again can complicate things because I am on a ravager, so they can take me off the ravager. And we also have a high level basilisk, which is pretty dangerous in itself. I don't know what exactly it is fighting. Okay, it's finished with whatever it was there. Want to make sure there's nothing else that has spawned before we try and kite it. Now it's going to come towards me because it's already eaten an egg. It will not want it immediately, so it's just going to be a constant pain trying to run around, keep it at a distance, but also keep it within range of the egg so that you can try and hopefully kite it above or close to the egg so that it will eat it when it is hungry. And as you can see, the basilisk is fairly fast, plus it does have that projectile spit, which, just like the poison wyvern, will put down a cloud of poison. So if you get hit by it, it's going to hurt. If it's a high level, it will hurt even more. So that's why you want to go with some traps. Now I've got 2 traps that I'm going to show you. So of course this will be a bit of a slightly longer video, as I'm going to show you both of those traps in action. So the very first trap that we are going to build will require pillars. We're going to start with 3 pillars wide. You want to find the second snapping point, so it'll be something like this. Now on this particular trap, you can kind of set it up on ground that is fairly uneven, and that is one of the perks of this trap. Now we're going to go with 7 pillars wide. You will see me in this section of the video do only 6, but I recommend 7. This was me testing out the trap and trying to make it as resource efficient as possible, so we want to use as few resources as possible. So at the end we'll go with another 3 pillars wide. Remember, always go for the second snapping point. And what's nice about this is, as you will see later in the video, you can actually use your ravager to just kind of go between the pillars. The first line of pillars from where we will be kiting the basilisk will be only 1 tall, and all of the other pillars will be 2 tall. That should be enough to keep the basilisk in. Now, of course, I am doing this in the single player mode, so I'm going to use the admin commands to spawn in things. I don't really have much time to play the game for real, but I do have enough time to do tests and look efficient ways for taming creatures, which is what I like about this game. So once you've done that, the very first pillars that are 1 tall will be the supporting structure for the ramp. So with this, you can add whatever type of ceiling that you want. I'm going to put down the stone ceiling. You can put down wooden ceilings if you want to save up on materials. You can even put down the hatch frames. It's up to you how you want to save up materials. I don't think there's that much of a difference in terms of resources, but if you're very stingy on resources, then put down the cheapest one that you can put down. Now keep in mind, I would probably suggest going for the stone structures because the basilisk can damage wooden structures. So we're going to go down with 3 ramps down here and another 3 up there, and that is pretty much sorted. Placing down the final ramp. The trap is in itself done, and if you want, you can put down stone foundations inside the ramp, although I strongly advised against it. There is a bit of a glitch, a bit of a problem where if you walk away from the basilisk or the basilisk loses aggro on you, it will bury, and if there are foundation pieces, you cannot get it to unbury from underneath the foundation pieces without removing the foundations. So very important detail there. That is it for this trap. I'm going to show you the other trap. It's similar to this. The advantage to this trap is that you can kind of set it up more or less on uneven ground. It uses pillars, so you can sneak through or between the pillars with a ravager, and the ramps are wide enough so it allows you more room for error. It is a good trap. There's also another trap if you want to build it. It's up to you to decide which one to use. So I'm going to show you the second trap. With this, we're going to put down some foundation pieces. We're going to go 2 wide and we're going to go 6 long. And I just realized now that I said 6 pillars long on the previous trap with the pillars. I meant 7 pillars long because you want the trap in itself to be 6. Remember, the first pillars are the supporting pillars for the ramp, so we're not counting those. And now we will need some door frames. So we're going to go 2 tall, similar to the other trap, like this. Now the downside to this trap, well, 2 downsides to this trap is that you can only build it on terrain that is fairly level because of the fact that we are using the foundation pieces. The other disadvantage to this trap is that if you are going to go backwards and forwards from the trap to a location where you have your eggs that you are storing them, if that distance is far enough and the basilisk de-aggros, it will bury underground and it will be underneath the foundation pieces, and it kind of just glitches there until you remove the foundation pieces. So keep that in mind. If you're going to use this trap, make sure you have the eggs in your inventory once you're going to kite the basilisk into the trap. You need about 4 to 5 eggs depending on the level of the eggs. On this end, as this is where we will be kiting the basilisk from, we will put down the ramps. This is slightly narrower, so you are saving up on the ramps. You're not really using the stone seating pieces, so they are about the same in terms of resource costs. However, the one with the door frames is actually a multi-purpose trap, so you can actually trap other types of creatures in here. So it is a bit of a multi-purpose trap, and you can trap creatures up to the size of and including a T-Rex. This one is more of a basilisk type of trap. Remember that the pillar trap has to be 7 pillars long. This was just a test to see if I can get it with 6 pillars long to save up on resources, but it didn't work out. So let me show you how to kite the basilisk. We basically get its aggro and then we run towards the trap. You can do this on a wolf, you can do this on a ravager. Of course, we are on aberration, so I'm going to be using a ravager. I'm going to stop here at the top of the ramp. Luckily it didn't get hit, although it looked like I did. I don't have any sort of cheat on, so I don't have God mode, I don't have infinite stats. If I do get hit, it is gonna hurt. The basilisk is in and it cannot get back out. Now remember, we don't want it to dig underground, so we do want to keep its aggro. Now all we need to do is drop the eggs in. In terms of the eggs, you want to use the rock drake eggs or the fertilized magmasaur eggs. That is what the basilisk prefers. Once you have given it enough eggs, as you see right here, it will then be tamed, and all we have to do is remove the pieces at the end of the trap and then walk out the basilisk or have it follow us out of the trap. So how do we drop the eggs in the trap? Well, I'm going to show you in this next section. So I am going to kite another basilisk into the other trap that I made. So that would be the trap with the pillars. In this section that you see here, I have made the trap a bit longer. I've added 7 pillars because the first pillars are the supporting structures for the ramp. I was trying to make it shorter if I could. It didn't work out. The basilisk will be able to slither out of the trap if it is only 6 pillars long. As you can see right here, the advantage of this is I can actually run through or in between the pillars with the Ravager. Now we have the basilisk in there, so I'm gonna walk around. Oh, that really hurt. I'm gonna walk around this trap and drop in an egg. Of course, you can already pre-drop an egg into the trap if you want to. That is actually not a bad idea. Just making sure and showing you that the basilisk is unable to get out. So that is good to know. Now let's go and show you how to drop the eggs in these traps. I'm going to show you on the trap that I've got the basilisk in, and what you need to know is that the way we drop eggs in the trap is similar to the first trap as well. So the exact same thing applies to both traps. We walk up the ramp, make sure we have a clear view, open up our inventory, hover the mouse over the egg, press O, close the inventory, and walk down the trap. You may get hit by this, so maybe have a spawn bed nearby. That would definitely be helpful. Now the basilisk is focused in my case on wanting to get out of the trap, so I'm going to have to re-aggro it towards me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my Ravager to safety. It is behind the ramps. I'm going to walk this way, just basically so that I have cover behind the pillars and the ramps. It's already eaten an egg, and that was a high level egg as well. So once you have yourself a basilisk, what can you do with it? Well, if you press the space bar, it will bury underground, and then you can also travel underground. Notice that I have the oxygen icon pop up in my tooltip, so that of course means that I am consuming oxygen whilst I am underground with the basilisk. There are 2 things that keep me from being underground unlimited, mainly the stamina of the basilisk and of course the amount of oxygen that my character has. You can bypass this by having a scuba tank on you, and of course by increasing the amount of stamina that the basilisk has. There's also a bit of a con in the sense that the basilisk cannot go underneath structures or dinos, and it has 2 attacks. It has a bite and a spit attack. As you can see, the spit attack is basically similar to that of the poison wyvern, and it is actually quite accurate. It also deals a lot of damage on impact and puts down a cloud of poison. And as you can see, the basilisk saddle can be learned at level 85. You can see the requirements to craft the saddle. It is a more of an end game type of creature, and so it does require quite a few resources in terms of taming, especially the fertilized rock drake eggs and magmasaur eggs, which can be a bit difficult. If you can get these, the other part of the taming process in itself, it is not all that difficult. It is an interesting creature, definitely worth picking up, and it can do quite a decent amount of damage. With that being said and done, that is pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me and the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself, and if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so they get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Setopia Discord. Links, of course, you can find down below in the video's description. And until next time, Stay safe, folks.